Hello, and thank you for joining me for this short parent workshop designed to help parents of seniors navigate this senior year. I am Mrs. Coulard, one of the school counselors here at Atlee, and I look forward to providing you with some information that I think you will find important and useful. During this video, if you find that you have questions, feel free to email them directly to Mrs. Edwards, our career counselor, or me, Mrs. Coulard. We will be creating a document that answers the questions, and we will post it in the Class of Schoology page that your child is involved with. You are always welcome to contact your child's counselor directly, or you may find answers to your questions in the resource sheet that is linked in the description of the video below. In order to meet your school counselor, you can go to the AHS website, ahs.hcps.us, and click on the Resource tab, or you can also click on the resource link in the description below to see the list of counselors and the breakdown of the students that they work with. Now for the good stuff. Let's talk about what are your seniors' post-secondary plans. All seniors should have some sort of a plan by the time that they graduate high school. Common choices for the students here at Atlee are employment, college, either 2 or 4-year college, military, and technical or trade schools. It's important to look at the questions that are listed here and think about what do we need to be doing now to plan for the future. Speaking of now, these are things that your student should be thinking about as they're preparing for their future plans. If they're thinking about attending college, it's a great idea to do tours, whether it be face-to-face or virtually. As application season is in full swing, it's important to start finalizing that list of college choices. Having too many choices can be overwhelming and cause lots of stress for students. So be thinking about what is it that the students want and need out of their college experience, and finalize that plan and those college choices now. Plan ahead. Ask your teachers early for recommendations, and think about if there's community members that you may want to also serve as a recommender. Please be sure to give these people plenty of notice before any college deadlines. Take, retake, and send those SAT and ACT scores if colleges are requiring them. Many colleges are test optional now, so students are not required for every college to take an SAT and or an ACT. Go ahead and work on that resume and those application essays. They can be time consuming, and you want to make sure that you give it your best. Be sure to make sure that there are not spelling errors, that there's grammatical errors are taken care of, and be sure that if someone reads your essay, that they know what you're talking about without even knowing what the prompt is. Be sure to attend college fairs and college and military visits that are virtual and face-to-face. This is a great opportunity to learn more about colleges and military options, and for them to learn something about you. You also want to continue working on applications, whether that's employment applications, college applications, whatever it is that you're working on, continue working on those now. It's a great time to get that taken care of. When it comes to college applications, there are really 4 pieces to the application process. There's the application, the transcript, test scores, again, if those are needed, and recommendations. For applications, there are several different platforms that colleges can choose to use when it comes to their applications. Please do research and know whether they are using Common App or SendEDU, or if they're just using an application that they've created themselves. This will save time and make it easier in the future for students when they are applying. Each counselor will meet individually with their seniors. The goal of this meeting is to go over graduation requirements and discuss future plans and make sure that all students have the information they need to plan for their futures. Any student needing a counselor letter of recommendation will need to ask their counselor for this letter, and they will need to complete the counselor recommendation packet. That packet is linked in the resource sheet that I mentioned earlier, as well as shared with them in their Class of Schoology page. In order for students to access their transcript, they will need to create an account in Parchment, and it is important that they use the code that was provided to them when making this account. The Parchment account should be made with an email address other than their school email address. The reason for that is that their school email address will go away after they graduate, and they will still need to be able to access their transcript long after they finish high school. Parents, it's also important that you do not make the account. Parent accounts sometimes make it tricky for students to access their transcript during their high school and post-high school years. Please allow the students to create the accounts with their email addresses. If students are unsure of where to find their Parchment code, they can check their school email account. The subject line would read Parchment code. Each year, the Hanover County career counselors work very hard to create the Senior Handbook. This handbook has a ton of information that is so helpful to students and parents alike. Again, this is linked in the resource sheet that I mentioned earlier that's listed in the description below. The Senior Handbook has lots of information that will answer most questions. There's information about post-secondary planning, SAT and ACTs. There's a calendar that can help students stay on top of what they should be doing when it comes to college applications, as well as information about military and job training. So please click on the link and take advantage of this handbook that has been provided to you. Each year, we get asked tons of questions about college admissions. Here are 4 different options that many students will see. Please note that early decision is binding. Again, early decision is binding. This means that when a student applies to a college early decision, they are saying that they are going to that school no matter what. No matter if another school offers them acceptance later, no matter what the financial package is, it's important that they know it is binding and they are saying they are going to this school and will withdraw applications to all other schools. Regular decision, early decision, and rolling admissions, students are allowed to apply to as many schools as they would like. Rolling admission simply means that as applications come in, colleges are making decisions. And those decisions are shared with students immediately, rather than having to wait till a specific date after a whole pool of applicants have been reviewed. What about community college? For many students, community college is a great option to start their college careers. Whether it be earning an associate's degree or simply knocking out some of those general education courses before heading to a 4-year university, it's a great option for many students. One thing that's particularly interesting about community college option are the articulation agreements. Articulation agreements agree that classes completed at one school will count as credit towards a specific degree program when a student transfers to another school. It is important to know that there are very specific guidelines and requirements for students to be able to transfer the credits. Sometimes it's maintaining a particular GPA, other times it's specific classes. You can visit these sites listed on the screen here to find out more information and to view the actual articulation agreements between each of the colleges and the community colleges. Students will need to create an account on Parchment, as mentioned earlier. Parchment is what we use to send transcripts to universities, employers, and to students themselves. We are no longer sending transcripts through the counseling office. All requests go through Parchment. Students will be able to send their transcripts for free as long as it's an electronic copy until they graduate. This gives students the opportunity to apply to colleges without having to worry about the fee of sending their transcript. One thing that's important to point out is when students are using the Common App, they need to send their transcript to Common App. Please do not send the transcript to the individual schools. Again, when using Common App, it's important for students to send their transcript to Common App, not the individual schools. Here you will see a list of important upcoming events for our seniors and for their families. October 1st, the FAFSA becomes available. This is the free application for federal student aid. Key note there, it says free. If you are being charged to fill out this form, you're probably on the wrong website. So please make sure that you are not paying to fill out the application. Each year, Atlee hosts the VACRO College Fair. It's a great opportunity for students and families to mingle with different colleges and their representatives to learn more about the universities and colleges in the area, as well as around the country and some international. Atlee offers a spring and fall mini job opportunity fair. Be on the lookout for those dates coming in the future. Every senior should plan to fill out the Senior Scholarship Application. This application is available to students beginning in August and closes December 31st at 11:59 every year. This is a great opportunity for students to fill out one application and be eligible for multiple scholarships. Atlee will also recognize Community College Application Week, helping students complete their college applications for community colleges. Be on the lookout for those dates as well. And finally, we have our Senior Awards Ceremony at Atlee High School. Again, be on the lookout for more information about these events. There is information and dates available on the resource that is linked in the description of this video. When it comes to best practices, the number one benefit that you can give your student is to help them own this process. Help them to become organized with their schools and their deadlines, knowing the dates and the requirements for the schools. It's important to schedule time to work on applications and essays. And don't forget about those scholarship applications. They take time as well, but are super valuable and very helpful when students are able to receive scholarships. Also, be sure to help them review all the parts of their essays. Common mistakes are spelling errors or using the wrong tenses of words, forgetting words, leaving them out. It's super important to go back and check over those essays before submitting your college applications. If your child has an IEP or a 504, it's important to make sure that you have a copy of the IEP or 504 before leaving Atlee High School. This allows you to share that 504 or IEP with the Office of Accommodations at the college that the student will be attending. Listen up, parents of student athletes, this slide's for you. If your child is planning on playing sports in college, they will need to register with the NCAA Clearinghouse. They will also need to send their transcript from Parchment to NCAA. We don't do that for them, they would do that through Parchment themselves. And be sure to notify your counselor if you're planning on playing sports in college. Paying for college is something we all think about. How are we going to afford it? What's the best way to get those scholarships and financial aid? We have some help here for you at Atlee. The Senior Scholarship Application is linked in the parent resource sheet that I mentioned earlier that's in the description below. This is a great opportunity for students to fill out one application and be eligible for multiple scholarships. Another resource we have is our Scholarship Opportunities Spreadsheet. Students can access this resource in the Senior Handbook as well as on the parent resource sheet listed below. The other resource that we have is our GRASP representative. GRASP stands for Great Aspirations Scholarship Program, and Mrs. Wood is our representative and is a wonderful, wonderful asset to Atlee High School when it comes to figuring out how to pay for college. We encourage all students to meet with her. One, it makes them eligible for the GRASP scholarships that they offer. But two, they'll get so much support in filling out their FAFSA and finding ways to get money. It's important to meet with her because she knows things that maybe your school counselors aren't as familiar with. Because she is trained on the most updated information every year. I hope that you have found this video helpful and informative. Remember, if you have questions, please submit those questions to Mrs. Coulard or Mrs. Edwards, and we will create a document and share it in the Class of Schoology page. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video, and congratulations, you've made it to the senior year. Best wishes for a wonderful year. We look forward to working with all of you this year.